guys, Zero Rosberg back at it again for another video. This time we are back with some more AOR highlights, this time from China. A track that I felt I had a bit more pace around. I didn't exactly do much practice, purely because I couldn't be bothered playing the game really. Yeah, so after Australia, coming home with some decent point, with a decent point finish, with P7, could have been P5 if it wasn't a melt. But you know, decent start to the championship. Probably, I think it was already more points than what I scored in season 12. So I guess there's always a bonus. China, obviously, like I said, it's a track where I felt I had more pace around. One of my favourite tracks on the calendar as well, so I was quite confident until qualifying, where I got both of my laps invalidated. So I was coming into this thinking, yeah, my lap's invalidated, I'm not going to be able to get a run in because on my previous lap it said that this and next lap were invalidated. So I thought this lap was basically all over. I overfueled the car, thinking I wasn't going to get around, and it turned out I was able to set the lap time. So I was immediately bricking myself. As you can see, going through turn 1, 2, and 3 and 4, because, I don't know, China just like to call them really 2 corners 4. But, you know, coming to the first sector, as you can see, we're on the verge of just about beating our personal best at the moment. My PB was a 132.4. I knew I could scrape in an extra 2/10, but obviously, at least with this, because I thought I wasn't going to get a lap in, I just was not focused in the slightest. I did make a few mistakes, obviously. This middle sector was actually pretty good. It was a 27.777. And then, as you can see there, I've just not turned in. For whatever reason, the lobby was so laggy. I mean, it was actually ridiculous. Like, the FPS was non-existent. So there, it was like some sort of lag spike happened. I had like some sort of screen freeze and I just didn't turn in for the corner. So that cost me probably about a 1/10, 2/10, probably even 3/10, depending on like the quick sort of run I could have got. So coming out of the last corner, we're going to run up to the line. Terrell Martin, who was just in front of us, goes into the 31s because he's a twat. And apparently we would go 15th. And at that point I was shit myself. But no, it's just because the game's broken. We actually qualified in 11th with a 32.6. It's not an awful lap, but considering that whatever that was, lag spike, it completely killed us. Martin's obviously on pole ahead of Finn, I think it was. I can't remember who was in third. It was Evo in front of JD. As you can see, P11, look at that last sector, 40.2. I mean, you want to be doing 39.9s or 40 deads. So, and even in the first sector, I lost about a 10th or 2. So that is just tragic as a whole. But starting in P11, we have the bonus of starting on fresh tyres. I was aiming to do the super soft medium, purely because I didn't know what strategies were possible, because I assumed I was going to start in the top 10, so the only strategy I had in my mind was the super soft mediums, and I didn't have time to then start calculating different fucking strategies in my head. So I had to just deal with what I knew. Little did I know that there were faster strategies out there when you're starting outside the top 10. But we have 3, 4, 5 lights for the Chinese Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go, right behind Cryo Lockdown and STSF on Alonso. We're getting a decent start with side by side with Cryo. Looking up on the outside, we're going to go around Cryo's outside as we're going to try and pinch him on the inside a little bit. As you can see, we're losing the car mid-corner. And as you can see, look at this cluster of cars all side by side together. We're getting very close to Alonso, but we have made the move on Cryo Lockdown, so we are into the top 10. Taylor Devol looking on the outside for someone, I think, as Alonso's trying to get past Surprise. We're not going to look for a move. We're on the inside of Alonso, but we didn't quite get the run on the exit, as OMG's Joe has made a move on Cryo Lockdown. I'm not quite sure where he started. As you can see, look at the snake train that's going on right now. Right behind STSF on Alonso, he finished on the podium last time in Australia, so obviously China's not going very well for him. Getting onto the curb, trying to stay in the slipstream. We knew at this point, since I was quite far down the field and I knew I had pretty good pace, my teammate Cal, I didn't actually mention, I think he started P6 after the failure that was Australia. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying that, because in reality it was. So he done very well to get into the top 10, or to top 6 even. So we knew we had to make up some ground, because I knew that we could probably race with Cal. As you can see, immediately going for a move on Alonso, lunging it up the inside of the hairpin. I think there was a slight corner cut, but we'll gloss over that one. Alonso squeezing us to the outside of the track, almost taking us completely off the track, so a little bit iffy driving there, but we'll gloss over that. Looking on the inside of Alonso, as you can see, his car's slightly lagging back and forward. That's not his connection, that's just the game overall. I think the connection in this lobby was a bit all over the place. We're having a look on the inside of Alonso at turn 2. Again, there wasn't really space there, just letting him know that we are there. I don't know if it was the host or what it was, just the game servers, but the FPS, like I said, was tragic as we dive it down the inside of Alonso, bullying him out of the way. Classic fucking Hungary Season 12 style. He did actually, after the race, I had a DM conversation with him as he looked on the inside of me there. I had a DM conversation with Alonso, and he said that that contact got him light green front wing damage. So apologies, Alonso. Obviously I didn't think you'd get front wing damage from such light contact like that, and I didn't even think I hit your front wing, but I guess I did. Nice little thing here was that everyone was literally in each other's slipstream. Like, I think the leader must have pulled out to the inside and everyone pulled off to the inside, as we're now diving down the inside of Safraisme, squeezing him on the outside. We're trying to get the run on him. I think we're going to have the move done. We're going to have to try and hang it around his outside. He gives up the position, but I assumed that he was going to stick it in, so we actually didn't get a great run at the final corner. He's going to have DRS and he's going to be looking on the outside. We're going to give him the space. We're probably going to brake a little bit early, but we kind of just choked the corner as a whole. We're going to look on the inside of him anyway, and we have been touched by Alonso. Sent into a half spin, and we've now dropped from... We basically dropped 3 places in about 2 corners. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't absolutely fuming, to be honest. Again, I had a conversation through DMs with Alonso after that happened. He saw a gap. He sent a quote, "If you don't go for a gap, you're not a racing driver," or whatever bollocks that is. He went for a gap, and obviously it was closing. Since I was trying to make the move on Zafrais, trying to be inside, trying to be alongside him on the inside of turn 2, as we almost end up in the wall. Obviously, because since the gap was closing, he then understeered into my rear end, and he hit me, and I drifted into Zafrais, and since I was being tapped from the rear right and making contact with someone on the front left, I spun out. So that happened. We're going to have to just gloss over it. I did consider taking that to the stewards, but obviously I'm not going to now, as Safraisme decided to say hello to the gravel traps and just everything outside of the black stuff, the racing line. And so that's a free position for us back into P10. Could have been P8 at the moment, but you know, things happen in racing, things happen in league racing, so we're going to have to deal with it. We did lose the position to Jason 97F1, who was on the softs, going for an almighty strategy, it has to be said, as he's looking for a move on his teammate, who is holding up a little bit of a trailing tail of the Vol just in front. Alonso has the inside, and he's gone. There goes Alonso. I don't know if that was... I think it was just oversteer on the curb, or if maybe there was some crap contact with Jason or not, I'm not sure. Looking on the outside of Jason, you could just see his car lagging everywhere, and I know Jason's got very good internet, so I know it's not him, but we're going to talk about that in a moment. As we go back up the inside of Jason, we're going to take the inside line, we're going to squeeze him out a little bit, and we have made the move. Like I said, I know it's not Jason's internet as Alonso retires, because I am aware that he has very good internet anyway, and I'm pretty sure I think he hosted Australia, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong, I'm not quite sure. And we had to change hosts because Brosiek96 couldn't actually connect to the session, so SDL Cal was the host, and he had one of the better connections as well. So, you know, that was a thing. Jason all over our slipstream. He's going to look to the inside. We're not going to defend. We're going to try and get the switch back on him if he goes in too deep, which he does. We're going to get the cut back on him. Side by side, coming into the final corner. We are in front, so he will probably back out of the move, which he does. And we will hold the position going into turn 1. We're going to go slightly to the left, and then we're going to go back onto the right. Just onto the racing line. It was quite necessary, but I mean, I don't know. Holding off P8 at the moment. Taylor the Vol not too far away. I am starting to lose my voice at the moment, and I've only been commentating for about 10 minutes, so this isn't going to go well. Like I said, about the connection, the FPS was non-existent as well. Again, I'm not sure what it was. I think Brosiek mentioned it after the race as well, saying that the FPS was just non-existent. And I don't know if this was the same for everyone. I haven't asked anyone else. But yeah, I guess if any of the drivers are watching this, drop us a tweet, DM, whatever, or comment, just bringing it up, or maybe we can mention it in the AOR forums to see if, I don't know, I'm not sure if this is the game or not. But in my rambling, Jason went for a move at the last corner, the ultimate corner, I should say, and he went wide. We made the switch back, and a bit of contact was made going into the final corner, but now we're on the outside, coming into turn 1. We're going to give up the place, hoping they were going to go wide a little bit, overshoot the corner, but Jason, he's wise to it. He's been league racing for way too long, and he obviously knows how to keep a position, really. So our defense has kind of come to an end there, in comparison with racing with Jason, that is. So now we just have to hold off the pack behind of Surprise, OMG, it's Joe in probably another 2 cars, I don't know. This race at the moment was actually, well, it wasn't going exactly to plan. I mean, obviously I was hoping to qualify like in the top 6 or top 7. That obviously didn't go to plan since like I said, the FPS in the last sector. And then the contact with Alonso in Surprise. And, you know, at the moment it's just not going to plan. As you can see, I've got rear wing damage. Okay, I didn't actually notice that. Did I have wing damage there? I'm not sure. My voice went very high-pitched there. I'm probably going to need another look at that later on, because I actually think I had light wing damage or something. I'm not sure if that maybe had an effect on my driving or what was going on. But either way, Jason's obviously pulling away now. All we need to do now is just try and hold on to P9, this is, ahead of Surprise and that. I think we had the pace over Surprise, as that was Martin, I think, was in the pits there. I think there's a few people pit that lap. Oh, I'll say a few. There was one person that pit as we're now in P8. Obviously, I think Cal at this point, SDL Cal, I think he was in P5, I want to say. He was in P5, P6, somewhere around that. So, really, I just wanted to try and catch him, but I knew the only way I could do that was just trying to stay consistent and just run my own race. Try not to get involved in too many battles, because I think that was my mistake at the start, was just getting involved with too many battles. I mean, I could have taken my time with the moves on Surprise and Alonso, and maybe I could have came out of the situation a lot better than what I am at the moment. But obviously, in the moment, I thought the best thing to do was to just plow in front, just immediately go for it. When there's a gap, you gotta go for it, because people were braking early, since nobody was trying to make moves on each other, it seemed. So that's what I tried to capitalise on, was the fact people were braking early, trying not to make moves, and because that was happening, I was diving it down the inside, trying to catch them off guard. Obviously it didn't work. I made a move and then tried to make a second, but then obviously that basically ended my run. Lap 10 now, we're going to be planning to come into the pits. Safraiz is actually overtaken by Joe, and most of the top 10 have actually pit now, so we were in P3 for a little while, which was nice. Overshooting it into the pit lane a little bit, trying not to speed, just about getting it under the pit limiter. And now we're going to be pitting for the medium tyres. If you noticed at the start of the race, when I'm on the tablet thing, you would have noticed it said it was going to rain in this race, so I was actually quite prepared as I've paused, and then there was a screen freeze, so that cost me a little bit of time as well, not much. Because it was going to rain, I was actually quite confident that maybe the rain would come a bit earlier. I think around this time, the engineer said light rain in 10 minutes. You can see a few of the dark clouds looming in the distance, but this was roughly it was in the time that the track was in its brightest, because it started off cloudy, and then the clouds broke through, the sky broke through the clouds, and it was quite sunny. And then Jeff comes over the radio like, "Yo, fam, there's going to be some rain in like 10 to 15 minutes." And I was a bit confused, since this was literally the lightest the track had been the whole race. As Safraiz is in the pit lane, we're going to make up. I think these next few clips is just us making up places because of people in the pits. Evo just in front of us, he actually had a spin, I think. I'm not sure how, really how that happened, but it did. Pretty much now, we've just got to make use of these medium tyres. I hadn't actually done much running with the mediums, so that just isn't very good as a whole because of my lack of race practice. Flying Finn leading the way, I think, or at least he's in second, I'm not sure. Setting the fastest lap of the race, as we are currently in P14, but we're going to go up to P12 very soon. Yes, we are. Setting a 36.1 in comparison to Finn's 35.8. 3 tenths slower. I guess with my lack of practice, I guess it's not horrific. My consistency was a little bit up and down. Joe now in the pit lane doing the soft medium strategy, which is interesting, I guess. But he gets jumped by Safraiz, to be expected, I would think. Obviously, now looking back, I probably could have gone for the better strategy, which would have been starting on the softs, and then maybe going mediums or attempting super softs. I'm not sure. Like I said, I wasn't sure on strategies or anything like that. I just went for the strategy that I knew worked, as we have Brosiek 96 just in front of us. And obviously I didn't exactly know what strategies worked, as Brosiek decides to say hello to the barriers, and we overtake him. I'm not sure what happened there. Obviously he's still on the softs, so I'm not sure if he had an issue there or what went on, but that happened. Skipping on to lap 17 now, coming around the final corner. Taylor the Vol was just in front of us, but now Jason's finally pit after his incredible long stint on the softs, as he's going to pit for the super softs, which I didn't think was a possible strategy, but Jason, he is just a god at just saving tyres and just at strategy as a whole. I guess if it wasn't for qualifying, he'd be able to get a lot better results, I think. But you know, Jason does whatever he wants, I guess. At this point, I'm just trying to catch Taylor the Vol. I did a practice session with him, and I thought my pace overall was a lot better. But I just couldn't catch anyone that race. I had enough pace to keep in front of guys like Safraiz, who were behind me before Jason on the super softs came up my arse. But I didn't have enough pace to claw in guys like Taylor the Vol or NLR Evo or SDL Cal. I didn't have that pace to then catch them. So I was basically just in no man's land in P8 at the moment, as Jason's all over me at the moment. Obviously I'm in lean mix trying to save my fuel, and obviously at this point I'm just a bit like, okay, there's no point battling. I've lifted off mid-corner, and Jason's gone around my outside there. Obviously with the advantage of super softs and mediums, he made the move. But yeah, including me in lean mix and just the slight lift in the corner, it's assisted him making that move. Obviously, I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep up with him to try and catch the guys in front, so I was just going to use his DRS here, and that would be the only assistance I would get for like the next 10 laps, really. Or I'd say 10 laps, probably like 3 laps, because obviously. As you can see, we're going to get DRS here, but it's going to mean nothing. Surprise, mate. I don't know, he just didn't have the pace on the soft tyres. He was doing a 2-stop, I believe. Super softs doesn't sound like a optimum strategy to me, but I guess whatever. I'm not sure what strategies people were doing. As you can see, Jason's the fastest start of the race, which isn't a massive surprise. But as you can see, as was stated at the start of the race, the rain did eventually come, but it wasn't hard enough for intermediate, or didn't come early enough for everyone to pit on for intermediates. As you can see, Evo and Jason actually having a battle in front. And I was actually alright in these conditions. Dry tyres, wet track. I was actually doing alright. As I say that, I've gone wide at turn 1. But the gap between me and Jason, and Evo really, was about 8 seconds. And I was, well, I think it was actually a bit more than 8 seconds. And I was actually closing them down on this last lap, like, dramatically. Or even the lap before, I gained 1.2 seconds on Evo. So I had decent pace, as again I say that. I've gone wide at the turn 6 hairpin. So, you know, these conditions weren't actually that bad for me. I mean, I could drive, it was a bit treacherous to drive in, but it was possible at least. Obviously, it wasn't going to be enough for me to try and catch Jason or Evo. Since the gap was a bit too large, and obviously my pace mid-race just wasn't good enough to even attempt to get close, really. Which is my bad. I mean, it's my fault. I didn't practice. I just didn't want to, really. I mean, there were people practicing straight away after Australia, and then there was people like me who were practicing Saturday and Sunday, and that was it. So really, in comparison to people that were practicing on Sunday evening, like the week before, I had no hope. Like, in reality, I had 2 days of practice, and that was it. And even still, I didn't do that much. I think I did like 6 sessions, and I think I only completed probably 20 racing laps. Like, it wasn't much at all, and I think I did 6 qualifying laps, or 8 qualifying laps. Like, that was it, and most of them I messed up. But looking past all of that, the Flying Finn takes home the race victory after Tyrrell Martin actually made a huge mistake on the last lap, or penultimate lap even, I'm not sure. But we come home for P8. Again, it's another decent finish. Again, it's another race of what could have been, really. I think, you know, if I really knew how the game worked, I probably could have got a better qualifying position if I was a little bit more cautious at the start. I could have been in a better position at the end, because I would have been battling cars, and obviously I wouldn't have spun. But Tyrrell Martin obviously comes home in second with Tyrrell Limitless, Matiz, Cal, with hashtag Team Meme coming in P5 ahead of Evo, Jason, myself. Taylor the Vol, another points finish, and Surprise Mare, obviously not a very good day for him, along with Joe, Eggy, Simon 2, and Langman finishing off those positions. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the Chinese Grand Prix. I do hope you enjoyed this video. Like it if you did, subscribe if you're new for more AOR Season 14 content, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Cheers.
I see the lightning in your eyes. I feel it haunt me every time that you blame me. You blame me. I see the lightning in your eyes. I feel it haunt me every time that you blame me. You blame me.
The phenomenology of a nuclear explosion is well known. Generally, more than 50% of the energy of an explosion is delivered in the form of soft X-rays. Smaller